What is up? Not sure where to host your podcast? Today, I'm comparing the pros and cons of Anchor and Buzzsprout. Which podcast host is best for you? Let's get into it. Anchor has quickly become one of the most popular podcast hosts for new podcasters, but they have some dirty little secrets that I want to talk about. But first, let's explain why it is so popular. And the simple answer is it's completely free. It's 100% free. It doesn't cost you any cash to get started on Anchor. You can record and edit your podcast straight from the Anchor app right on your mobile phone, so it's so simple to just get started. Additionally, Anchor allows you to monetize your podcast from day one. The first episode that you launch is already going to come pre-rolled with ads, which you can get paid for. The alternative, Buzzsprout, is still a great option for beginners and experts alike. With over 100,000 monthly users, it is a really powerful tool for getting your voice out there. Now, Buzzsprout does have a free option. However, the episodes that you release are only stored for 90 days. So most people end up signing up for a program that's between $12 to $24 per month, which is pretty reasonable and pretty much in line with what paid podcast hosts typically charge. One of the things that I really like about Buzzsprout and why I host my podcast on Buzzsprout is it is so clean, it is so simple, it has a great interface for uploading your podcast episodes. The other thing that's great about Buzzsprout is it makes it so simple to get your podcast distributed on all the different platforms like Apple Podcast, like Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. I had my podcast launched and released on all these platforms within about 2 to 3 days. It was very simple, and Buzzsprout made it easy. Now, throughout the process, occasionally I've had problems or challenges that I need to overcome. Buzzsprout has, by far, in my experience, the best customer support on the market. I can get answers in real time, super simple, and they solved all my problems really quickly. So that's what I look for in a great customer service experience. Another thing that I love about Buzzsprout is they have all these great graphs, all these charts, all this great data to help you really pump out your podcast. Part of having a successful podcast is being able to market it, right? And by using a program like Buzzsprout, it allows you to create tons of social proof, tons of social evidence to help other people get curious and be excited about your show. The charts and graphs are phenomenal, and that is definitely something that I think is a big part of why I love Buzzsprout so much. To tack on and give you a little bit more information, you can also link up a Chartable account to Buzzsprout. It's super simple, and that gives you more social proof, more charts, more top 10s. You want to launch a top-rated podcast? Starting on Buzzsprout, linking up your Chartable gives you a ton of social proof to accomplish that goal. I also love that Buzzsprout comes with your own custom website. It's not super in-depth, but it's a great hub. It allows you to customize your colors and your logos, and just is a nice hub for people that maybe don't have a central website. And if you do have a central website, they have several different players that you can embed in your website as well. All these reasons are why I like to use Buzzsprout and why Buzzsprout is my podcast host of choice. Hey, by the way, are you enjoying the show? Make sure that you subscribe. You do not want to miss out on the top tips, tools, and tactics that you need to be successful in 2020 and beyond. So click that subscribe button. Now, we established that Anchor is free, but there's some problems with having a free platform. First off, customer service is going to be essentially non-existent. If you have a problem, you're going to have a really difficult time getting an answer from someone at the Anchor staff. Of course, you can figure things out on your own, or you can email to get a response back several days later, or maybe go to Reddit or Google to try to answer a question, but the customer support is not going to be great. I also mentioned that all of the editing can be done right in the app itself, but with that comes some problems. The editing process is a little bit clunky, it's not super intuitive, there can be some challenges there. You're going to find with Anchor that the analytics are very basic. Sure, you're going to know how many downloads you get, but the amount of data, the amount of information, the amount of analytics that you're going to have access to is very limited. I mentioned earlier that I love using Chartable to help provide more graphs and more social proof for promotion. Well, unfortunately, Chartable doesn't actually link up to Anchor, so you're not going to be able to get that social proof, which is absolutely crucial for growing your show. To expand on that, Anchor is automatically going to push out your podcast to all these platforms without even requesting. But they're not requesting on your behalf, they're requesting on their behalf. So you're gonna have a really hard time, if not impossible time, getting analytics from places like Apple Podcasts, because Anchor is gonna basically have all that data and you are not. So this makes it really difficult for you to get a good handling on your audience and on your fans. The final, and for me, the nail in the coffin for Anchor is that your audio files are actually saved as what we call an MP4A, right? And long story short, this is a compressed audio file, which means the audio experience is not going to be as good when you're using a platform like Anchor. Buzzsprout is going to allow you to upload what we call a WAV or a WAV file, which is the highest quality non-compressed audio experience. So long story short, the audio is going to sound a lot better when it's on a platform like Buzzsprout versus a site like Anchor. Now, with that being said, if you're just hosting a talking podcast, Anchor is going to be sufficient, but not going to be a great place for you to actually scale and win. Statistically, nearly 50% of podcasts on Anchor are dead. There's nothing even happening or being posted. So that gives you an idea of the success level that people have when they start with Anchor. To summarize here, Buzzsprout is definitely my favorite place to host a podcast. It's clean, it's simple, it's relatively inexpensive, and you get a really high quality experience for your end user. It's a great place to not only start your podcast, but to grow. Anchor is fine if you're just beginning and you're not really sure what you want to execute on with a podcast, but there are just so many negatives to starting with Anchor. And quite frankly, I think that if you start your podcast with Anchor, if you're kind of starting off with the wrong equipment, the wrong gear, the wrong software, you're just gonna have a hard time statistically from making it stick. There are some benefits. It's totally free. You can test the waters. But I have found that generally speaking, when you're able to commit not just your time, but your money to a project, you're much more likely to fulfill it to a high level of success. So for all these reasons, I would definitely recommend that you start your podcast with Buzzsprout. Just start with the best. And I've got a link below so that you can get started with the best podcast host on the planet. How about you? What's your experience? What podcast host has really stuck for you? I want to know. I want to hear. Leave it in the comments for me. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. I cannot wait to see you next time. You do not want to miss out on all the top tips, tools, and tactics that we are bringing to you on a weekly/daily basis. I will catch you next time here on Mark Savant Media. Peace.